never stop reading Bible.
All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're jumping into the book of Zechariah to look at a series of really powerful and symbolic visions. And trust me, these aren't just some ancient, dusty dreams. They tell a profound story about God's promises, judgment, and ultimately, His control over everything.
You see, the prophet Zechariah got these visions when his people were at a real low point, a time of huge uncertainty. And as we're about to see, the way these visions unfold is no accident. It's a journey, one designed to take a broken community and lead them toward a future built on God's power and authority. So first up, we're looking at a community that's just completely lost hope. They're surrounded by ruins, they feel totally abandoned, and it's right into that darkness that the first of these visions shines a brilliant light.
And that's the real heart of the problem, right? The people of Judah were so beaten down by their present reality that they literally couldn't imagine a future where their temple and their city could ever be rebuilt. They were completely stuck, convinced that any kind of hope was just a lost cause.
And right into that feeling of utter despair, Zechariah sees this incredible vision, a solid gold lampstand. It's got a bowl on top that's feeding 7 lamps, and on either side there are 2 olive trees. Now, this isn't some random image. It's a direct, powerful answer to the people's hopelessness.
Okay, so let's break this down, because the symbolism here is huge. You've got these olive trees just pouring oil right into the lampstand. The message couldn't be clearer. The light of God's people isn't kept burning by their own effort or their own limited resources. Nope, it's powered by a direct, continuous, never-ending supply from God Himself.
And this wasn't just some abstract idea. It came with a very specific promise for the guy in charge of rebuilding the temple, a man named Zerubbabel. God tells him, look, this massive job won't get done by human strength or power, but by my Spirit. The lampstand was the proof. The divine supply was never going to run out.
But you know, it's bigger than just that one temple. This whole vision is a powerful picture that points way ahead to a much greater ultimate salvation that will come through a future messianic figure. It's a vision of final and complete restoration.
All right, so hope is back on the table, but that's not the whole story. To really rebuild, you've got to deal with the junk. You've got to deal with sin. And that's exactly where the next 2 visions take us, from encouragement to purification.
So in chapter 5, Zechariah gets this 1-2 punch of visions that tackle wickedness head-on. First, you have a judgment that covers the land, and then you have the actual removal of the problem itself.
So picture this. Zechariah sees this huge scroll just flying across the entire land. It's like this divine billboard for everyone to see. It's public, it's sweeping, and it carries a really heavy message.
What does it mean? Well, this scroll is basically God's law, and it carries the curse for breaking that law. The point is, if you're going to have a new, restored community, sin has to be dealt with. There's no hiding from it. The wicked are going to be cut off.
Then, right after the scroll, the vision gets even more intense. Zechariah sees a woman who is literally called wickedness being shoved into a big basket. Then a heavy lid is slammed shut, sealing her inside.
And see, this is so important. It's not just about punishment. It's about total removal. She gets carried away to Shinar, which is another name for Babylon, the ultimate symbol of rebellion against God. Wickedness is literally being kicked out, exiled, to make the land clean so true restoration can begin. So let's recap. Hope has been restored. Sin has been removed. Where do we go from here? Well, we go to the grand finale, the final vision that establishes, once and for all, who is really in charge of everything.
In this 8th vision, Zechariah sees 4 chariots, and they are bursting out from between 2 mountains made of bronze. Now, bronze mountains? That's a symbol for God's decrees. They are absolutely unshakable. These chariots are His agents, sent out into the world to do His will.
And they have a clear mission. They're sent to execute judgment on the nations, sure, but also to bring salvation to God's people. And the biggest point of all? To show that God's rule isn't just local, it's active and absolute across the entire world.
And then the visions end with this really powerful symbolic act. Zechariah is told to make a crown and put it on the head of Joshua the high priest. Now this would have been shocking. Priests don't get crowns, kings do.
So what's going on here? This act is a prophecy. It's pointing to a future ruler, a Messiah, who will combine the roles of both priest and king, the one who will truly build God's temple and rule over His people in perfect peace.
So when you step back and look at the whole series, you see this amazing story unfold. It starts with a simple promise of hope for people who have none, moves through the tough but necessary work of purification, and ends with this incredible picture of God's sovereign kingdom ruled by the ultimate priest-king.
And that really leaves us with something to think about, doesn't it? In our own world, which can often feel just as chaotic and broken, what does it mean to hold on to a vision of restoration that requires both judgment on evil and an unwavering hope in a sovereign ruler?
That's our time for today. This explainer was based on analysis from the Center Studio. Thanks so much for joining us.